Philippines is reporting erratic movement for the largest of China's Coast Guard vessels. The ship was spotted about 77 nautical miles off the northwestern province of Zambales. Manila warning of the impact on local fishermen. CNA's Bernal tells us more.
Alarm over the continued presence of a huge China Coast Guard ship moving closer to Philippine shore. This was raised on Tuesday in a press briefing by officials of the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea, which is how the country calls its maritime zone in the larger South China Sea. The Philippines called the presence of the so-called monster ship of China as illegal, well within the country's exclusive economic zone as set by international law. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, J. Tariela, said the ship's movement has been erratic, indicating its presence is not a mere exercise of innocent passage.
The China Coast Guard 5901 was actually termed by maritime security scholars as monster, not because of its capability, but because of its humongous size. It is the only Coast Guard in the world that has an overall length of 165 meters, and it's also only the Coast Guard in the world that has a tonnage of 12,000.
Mr. Tariela said China's deployment could possibly be in response to two laws signed in November that set the Philippines' maritime zones and sea lanes. He added the ship could also intimidate Filipino fishermen as it is operating near a key fishing ground. National Security Council spokesperson and Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya said it is these provocations by China that put pressure on the Southeast Asian country to deepen engagements with like-minded partners.
By their very action of reclamation, militarization, we are now strengthening our alliances with other nations. And when we strengthen alliances with other nations, things like the RAA, that which we never contemplated before, are now becoming reality. And the moment we sign the RAA, they say it's provocative. I hope the PRC understands that this would not have happened if not for them. They were the ones that started all of this.
The Philippines signed a Reciprocal Access Agreement, or RAA, with Japan last year that allows ease of access for more combat training between the two countries. It has committed to more trilateral and quadrilateral engagements with Japan, Australia, and the United States. The Philippine Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Roy Vincent Trinidad, also raised concerns over submersible drones the Navy has monitored last year in Philippine waters. The Navy fell short of determining who owned these drones. Forensic examination with the help of military treaty ally United States is ongoing, but results are in for one of 5 of these underwater gliders.
These are designed to gather bathymetric data, specifically depth, salinity, oxygen level, temperature of the water. This information will have commercial value, it will have academic value. It could also have, with the crisscrossing of information right now, it could also have military purposes or applications.
Philippine officials said the country has demanded from China that its so-called monster ship leave the Philippines' maritime zone. A diplomatic protest has been filed by the Philippines against China over what officials called China's latest provocation. Nearly 200 such diplomatic protests have been filed by the Philippines against China since July 2022, when Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. took power. Buena, Bernal, CNA, Manila.